Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 33 of Podcast 451. The
Hello,
podcast,
everyone. Oh, sorry.
the podcast where me and Zoe talk about shit, mainly books. So, how's it going, Zoe?
Hello, everyone. Sorry about butting in again.
No, I think I talk too long in the beginning. Is the problem?
No.
So, you don't think so?
I'm just too damn eager. That's my problem.
Well, we've been waiting for 7 minutes, so we're pretty excited to do this show. But yeah, so we got a ton of stuff to talk about, and it's mainly because we've been kicking ass all week on Black Star Canyon stuff, correct?
Correct.
Zoe did all the covers for all the books, and they're all pretty freaking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm quite proud of them.
yeah, I'm pretty stoked. But so today we're going to talk about how to make a press release for a book coming out, and it's because I did a press release this week for Black Star Canyon, and I've done press releases before for films and stuff like that I've done, but I wanted to see if there was any real difference, and there's not a huge difference, but I got a lot of tips from a lot of different resources, so we're going to talk about that. We did our first ad campaign ever this week, and that was pretty freaking epic, and we're going to talk about that, right?
Yeah, we certainly are.
It made us want to do more ads.
Which is probably
The fact
like what they were hoping for.
The fact we've done as well as we've done without ever doing any fucking marketing whatsoever is really fucking cool. So, yeah, so
we're going to pass on our knowledge so you can do it too.
woo!
So that's what we do.
Speaking of passing on knowledge, inside this cup right here, for those of you watching the video, this cup, my Podcast 451 mug. Yes, that cup. We have.
Even though I'm using a glass.
What? You're using a glass?
Yeah, it's because I don't know if you can see it because it's wiped off quite a bit, but I've got my marker on there to let me know how much exactly a glass of wine is for my Weight Watchers.
Oh, how are you doing on Weight Watchers since you brought it up?
So. The fact that I've had my friend and her kids here this weekend, we've eaten probably nothing but cake, won't have helped. But I'm going to bypass that and get started again today.
Did you have a bacon and egg sandwich?
Yeah, I had a couple of those too. Not today.
Well, my Weight Watchers is going swimmingly, apparently. I have lost 13 pounds so far and 4 inches around my waist. So,
That's
yay!
not the shocking bit, though, is it?
Well, I'm not going to start getting into all my bits. What's smaller?
No, but I think you should get. I think you need to go into one particular bit.
No, I'm
and not that bit.
Bits.
Not that bit, rude people.
Okay, so anyway, really, back to...
Oh my god, I can't believe he's not telling everyone. That's so good. Tell everyone.
No! So we're moving on. Like, the weight and the waist is the important thing here.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I mixed hazelnut coffee with espresso, and I'm enjoying it quite a bit. So that's what was in my cup before we started talking about Zoe's wine line.
Oh, God.
To be fair, though, I have a lot more points a day than Zoe does, and she's kind of jealous.
Very jealous.
But back to actual what we're here for. So we're going to talk about that. I'm going to talk a little bit about blogging, and I think first, we should talk about the new author earning report.
Yes. No,
Author earning report.
Oh, okay.
What?
I thought you were dragging the podcast news bleeping thing from the grave.
Go.
No.
Where the boys are.
Oh, God.
She doesn't like it when I sing like that. Okay. So I have some notes here, and shockingly enough, they are so much in shorthand that the first line I don't know what it means. So we'll just talk about what's going on. So basically, the author earning report is something that Hugh Howey and some other nameless people are putting together and whatnot. They put one out in February, and they put one out last week talking about what's been going on and the trends and everything like that. And that it's hard to tell trends off of 2 reports on 1 quarter. Okay? Yeah. But there are some interesting things going on here. Oh yeah, that's what that was. 37% of Amazon's daily ebook revenue is for self-published authors. And that's kind of a cool little fact. But the report is really, really long, and I'm just going to go over the beginnings of it and kind of wet your whistle for it, so you'll want to go take a look at it. And if you go to author-earningsreport.com or author-earnings.com, you can find all this stuff out. But indie authors are out-earning the big 5 by 27% on books released after 2001. And that is a big deal, and it will continue to be a bigger deal, because that means the big 5, the big, huge publishers out there, are relying on famous author backlists more than anything else. And the longer self-publishing and indie publishing and stuff like that keeps going, that number's going to dwindle and dwindle and dwindle if the big 5's top authors aren't raking it in off of their new releases. So that's just like a really kind of shocking fact. But so the number of bestsellers, or the number of titles in the bestsellers list, okay? Mm-hmm. For indie publishers, the number went up by 2%, and for the big 5, the numbers went down 2%. So
that doesn't sound a lot, but it actually is quite significant.
It's a huge number. But the funny thing is that at the beginning of the thing, they said that they figured they would see a 2 to 3% increase in stuff. That was like their hypothesis. And it's pretty much exactly that. The daily unit sales, okay, this is another cool one. For indie publishers, the number went up by 3%, and for small and medium publishing houses, and kind of like independent type publishing houses, the number went up 4%. Whereas the big 5 numbers went down 2%. And one of the things that I guess might have been kind of unexpected is that Amazon's own imprint, like they have their own publishing on there too, that went down 2%.
Really?
Yeah. Now, the daily gross sales, it went up 1% for indie authors, up 3% for small and medium, down 2% for Amazon, but it went up 1% for the big 5. The other thing you have to know here is that across the board, big 5 prices went up 3% this quarter.
Wow.
So
obviously
put that into.
Take that. Yeah, you've got to take that into consideration, that it's actually the amount of money that each book is worth, rather than the numbers of the books that people are actually buying.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the way that we find that information out is right here. Oh, I guess I didn't write that down. Or I don't think there was a change. Actual revenue that authors get.
Mm-hmm.
Indie authors went up 2%. Small and medium publishers went up 2%. Amazon went down 3%. And for the big five, there was no change. The thing that was awesome about this, though, like when I was saying 37% of the daily revenue was indie authors, 37% of the daily revenue is big five authors. So what that means is in authors' pockets and the bestsellers, traditionally published authors are making the same amount of money as self-published authors.
Yeah.
And that's crazy. That's a big win. That's awesome.
But not only that, surely the big published, the big five, there's a big percentage of that are going to the publisher themselves as well, whereas the self-publisher getting it all.
Well, that's what I'm saying, because like as far as like revenue to the authors.
Oh, right. So it's actually directly to them. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's fascinating.
So that's pretty cool. Yeah, and the thing, and it goes into way more detail, and especially talking about pre-2011 and post-2011, which is very, very interesting. So give it a read. It's really, really cool. And at the end of the day, I don't really know what... I mean, I don't want to say I don't know what this is going to prove, but it's...
The indications are that the self-publishing side of things are doing pretty good at the minute, aren't they?
Yeah, and it was funny. I was listening to Joanna Penn the other day, and on her show, The Creative Penn, she said that she thinks in 2 years the term self-published author won't even be used. It'll just be accepted across the board that authors are authors, you know? And that's a pretty interesting thought.
Yeah, considering it was such a sort of taboo phrase at some time, wasn't it? And very, like, sort of looked down upon.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. And so between that and us putting our ads together and just kind of looking back, because it's almost been a year since we've been doing this.
Yeah, it kind of set you off on a little bit of a OCD manic episode, didn't it?
That is a lovely way to put it. Yeah, I went batshit crazy the other night and got out spreadsheets and turned into freaking Albert Einstein over here. Didn't know how to tie my shoes with nothing. But yeah, if you have any questions, if you're watching on Google+, leave the questions in the Q&A thing, and we'll get to your questions as they come up.
Can people still comment on YouTube, or is that?
They can. Can you open YouTube and look at it, or is that too much to ask?
Oh my God! Did you hear that, everybody?
Okay, Shar says hello.
Kidding.
Hi, Shar.
Hi, Shar.
But yeah. So anyway, our trek. So even though it was about this time last year that Zoe and I started working on Slasherton. Like, we're like, okay, we're going to make this go, da-da-da-da-da. And we spent 2 months trying to figure out why Create Space wouldn't put our book out. And it was kind of a nightmare. And, I mean, we didn't even do ebooks for the Slasherton stuff until when? Oh, wait, no, we did the ebooks. We just didn't do them good.
Yeah.
So basically July is when we say we actually started selling books, because that's when we got on Amazon and started doing the ebook thing. And Slasherton and Creepology and those series went into the public's view. So I say we, but it was me going a little crazy. I decided to get out all of our spreadsheets on all of the different sites that we sell our stuff on and try to see things like, is permafree actually working for us? What books of ours are selling? Which ones aren't? Which books do better on different markets? And honestly, a lot of the info I got blew my fucking mind. Okay. And it was so bad. And I was up till like 6 o'clock in the morning or something working on it, doing all this shit. And then when I woke up the next day and started looking at all of the information I wrote down, it took me probably about 2 hours of going through everything to figure out what the fuck I was doing. Because it was just like, here, let me try to find a good looking piece of paper to show our video viewers so they could see how manic I got. Well, I don't know if it's necessarily manic looking. Yeah, it's actually pretty bad. Okay, well anyway, so I started going through all of this stuff, and what I found out was permafree is working for us, but not across the board. Especially with Slasherton. Slasherton, if you don't know, is a kind of like a cartoon book. It's like the old Mr. Men books that Zoe and I do, and it was kind of like our flagship project that we were doing. And since then, and if you've seen Sack, the little guy in a brown paper bag with a knife, that's Sack. He's our little anti-hero guy. Since we've been putting those books out, originally they were paperback only, and then we started doing ebooks. And what we found out was the paperbacks for the first 3 sold really, really well.
Yeah.
The paperbacks for the last 2 didn't sell as well. And I think this is a story thing, because the first 3 books were a lot more fun and weren't really telling a story.
Yeah.
They were just like, see Sack run, see Sack stab, Sack put his hands up his sack, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Whereas Slasherton Origins and Sack and Drag are stories, you know?
Yeah.
And the thing that sucks, and I know Zoe is going to chime in on this too, is that Slasherton Origins and Sack and Drag, for us, are the better books because the stories are good, and Zoe put a ton of effort into making these worlds and like doing all this stuff, whereas the first 3 books, Sack, Stitch, and Stealth, were basically just the characters doing stuff. And the fact that those ones didn't sell as good, I guess we're not going to really know until after Creep Creek Creature comes out to be able to judge it properly. But it's making us wonder how we should move forward with the storytelling.
Yeah, it's frustrating with the amount of time and effort that goes into them for them not to be as popular. But having said that, the reviews that we've got for Sack and Drag and Origins have been like...
The reviews are astounding.
Yeah, they're amazing. And people seem to really like them, but I just don't... Maybe it's a thing to do with us not... we discussed this, didn't we, earlier, and I said maybe we haven't, subconsciously, but we haven't mentioned them as much because there's been other stuff coming out, and I don't know, but there's something very obviously different.
Some other things that have been fun to kind of look at is that the paperbacks sell good for all the titles compared to the ebook sales of those titles.
Yeah.
So even the, I think the lowest selling book out of all the Slasherton books so far is Origins. And even with that being said, the paperback sales for Origins kill the ebook sales for it.
Yeah.
In fact, the paperback sales for Origins crush the ebook sales for SAC. So, and SAC has been our biggest thing. So, back in, let me see, what month was it? Back in March is when all these books went perma-free. So, SAC went perma-free in March.
Mm-hmm.
And it's our lowest performing perma-free book. But what I will say is that it has not transferred into better sales. We have the Slash Pack that has all the books in it.
Mm-hmm.
And we have not seen a bump at all in the sales of that book or any of the other ebooks since making SAC free. Now, I don't think we're going to take it out of perma-free. I think it's still good advertising for the series having SAC out there.
Yeah, I do.
But I think we need to push the paperbacks more. And what we were talking about doing is maybe not even making any of the future Slasherton books available in ebook, unless there's a demand for it.
Possibly it's the fact, like you were saying, that they don't relate well to the e-read. Like if people are reading them on their phone, for example, they're too detailed.
No, totally. This guy wrote
I mean, they're not detailed drawings, but they're there to look at. You know what I mean, and to enjoy it. It's a tiny image on that. You don't really get the benefit.
This guy wrote me yesterday and said that he bought SAC and Drag, and the ebooks don't do him justice, and he's so glad that he bought the paperback versions of them.
Oh, really? That's lovely for me.
So it's like, that's cool. And if people are getting SAC for free as an ebook and then buying the books, the paperback books, that's awesome. Like, that's fine with me. But it's just, that was like the only real negative perma-free thing going on. As far as the rest of the stuff, Creepology has been out since, I think July is when Unsane Sam came out, or the last week of June or something like that. And we made free Kindle books perma-free on that one. And obviously it's a title of keywords, so it's going to come up more. But up until yesterday, it was our best performing book. And we'll get into why yesterday was a big deal in a little bit. But what happened was free Kindle books went free in March. And before that, all of the Creepology titles performed, okay? Once free Kindle books went free, the sales from all of the other books in the series almost stopped. All the Creepology books, they almost stopped altogether, but the volume set of Creepology, the sales have totally gone up.
Yeah.
And now Creepology Volume 1 is our second bestseller.
Yeah.
So that's awesome because we actually make more money when people buy Creepology than if they buy all the individual episodes.
So from that we can hopefully see that the whole thing about C-readers and putting out your complete, like the complete collection at the end of it does work. By putting the free one first so people get a taste of it. Doing the complete one at the end is working. It's actually working. So that's a bit of advice we've given that hopefully.
And I'll talk about that in a second because something came up when we were talking to Simon last week that I didn't really notice was a big deal. But Michael Robertson says, "Hey guys, I'm watching for the first time. I'm looking forward to hearing about your advertising campaign. I have a book release next month, and I want to run an ad." Okay, well, we got some stuff for you, and thank you for watching, Michael.
Yeah, thanks so much. Hi, Michael.
If you have any questions, let us know. And then plus, too, I forgot to mention this, we will be giving away Black Star Canyon Season 1 today somehow. I guess the first person who says they want it, that's how we'll give it away. So I can't think of a question right now. So anyway, the thing with Creepology, it's a collection of books, but none of the books are a part of one another. They're just like kind of like bizarro fiction, I guess.
Yeah.
Is the best way to describe them. It's like kind of weird, suspenseful horror, but really weird more than anything. And so I know that standalone books do not sell as well as series books, so we clumped them together into this series. And the perma-free to the collection really worked on Creepology.
And you were talking to Simon about it, weren't you? And
I was talking to Simon about it, and the thing was that I didn't realize that putting books together that actually do not relate might be kind of like a novel idea.
But they relate as far as they're all weird fiction.
Exactly.
And he was saying that there's a lot of people who haven't considered the fact that they can actually put their books together.
Yeah,
just
so
the fact that it's a similar genre.
If you have a bunch of books out there that are completely not attached in any way to any other series, lump them together into a series, and it's working for us. I don't know.
It's worth a try. It
yeah,
really is.
Sure.
And from all the stats and everything that we've done, they seem to work for other people. So otherwise, we wouldn't have given it a try in the first place.
Yeah,
so it's
totally.
Worth
I never would have thought to put them out together. Because, in fact, if you remember, when we released them, they weren't... Like, we said, oh, yeah, that's the Creepology thing. But we never thought to, like, actually go on Amazon and put them together as, like, the Creepology books.
No, because we couldn't... Because, like Simon was saying, there's no connection between... Like he said, there's some certain things that he hasn't considered putting them together. But the
here's a good way to point that out. We did that in December when we started the big push, because we pushed Slasherton, we pushed Creepology, and we were getting ready for Black Star Canyon to come out.
Yeah.
So the last half of last year, the sales for the Creepology books were okay, but it wasn't until December that when we put them and said, oh, these are the Creepology books, and we put the banner on the covers and everything. It wasn't until then that they actually started to take off.
Yeah, which is crazy, isn't it?
You can use that information any way you want. But yeah, so that's that. So then the other things that I want to kind of just briefly talk about is that keywords are important in your titles, because for the dark poetry stuff that I do, that book, Gothic Romance, Murder, Depression, Suicide, and Death, that continues to sell well for a poetry book, and everything out there says that it shouldn't.
Yeah, it's notoriously difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, and The Legend of Cartwright Twain, to me, is a way better book. Way better book.
Yeah.
And it doesn't do nearly as much stuff. I'm actually thinking about doing that perma-free to see if we could even get Gothic Romance more sales.
Yeah.
Or maybe we should vice versa that. I don't know. No, we'll do the Cartwright Twain. So Bloodlust Romance, the BLR trilogy, that went perma-free. The cool thing about this, there's only 2 books in this series as of right now. For every... Okay, those ones have been going here in America, like the frees, they go. And the second book, Bloodlust Revenge, doesn't really get a lot of carryover in America, but in Germany and in the UK, whenever a Bloodlust Romance sells, within a week, Bloodlust Revenge sells. So that doesn't really help the perma-free argument, but it, I guess, might help how you target content to different places.
I know, that's quite bizarre, isn't it? That we obviously go for that kind of thing over here.
Yeah, well, it's a very hardcore, explicit. No, that sounds like porn now, but it's like a very gritty horror exploitation thing, and it sells good in Germany. So I don't know. Take that however you want. But oh, the other thing I was going to say about Creepology. This is the weirdest thing. Char's going to fucking laugh her ass off on this. So one of the books in the Creepology series, okay, is it had, when we did the KDP select for it, it had the second highest number of downloads as any of the books. I mean, free Kindle books obviously got a lot more downloads than anything. But this one book got the second highest amount of downloads. And I have never sold a single copy of it on Amazon. And that book is a little book called Bacon. And Bacon is like one of my favorite books. It's my favorite cover of the Creepology covers.
Yeah, I know. I love that cover.
But it has never sold a fucking copy on Amazon. But it is the only book that consistently sells for us on Barnes & Noble. So, however the fuck that works, I have no idea. I don't know what to take from that.
You can't even begin to work that one out, can you?
No, it boggles my fucking mind.
If anybody can think of a reason why that might be, please let us know.
The only thing I can think of is that people might think it's a cookbook. Like, here's a book on how to cook a ton of bacon. But, like, do people not buy cookbooks on Amazon? That doesn't make any fucking sense. Another thing that's kind of weird as far as different stores go is that the books that we sell on Kobo, like the Creepology volume sells on Kobo, and the Shallow Jallow Girl with the Crystal Pubis sells on Kobo. Nothing else. The frees I have, the books that are perma-free on Kobo, like hardly make that. I don't fucking get it. We put a book free on Amazon, and it goes and like a bunch of free downloads. We put a free book on Kobo, and it just kind of meanders.
I know.
It's so really fucking weird. And Apple is kind of, well, let me look at my Apple shit real quick. Apple is our second best place to do business. We're doing pretty okay on Apple.
Which we weren't at first, were we?
No, we were up on Apple for like 2 months, I think, before we started selling stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, and what I was going to say too is that I don't know if we talked about this on the show last week, but Kobo is our worst performing sales channel. And Shar just said, that's weird. Everyone should have a copy of Bacon. I agree. I think Bacon is a ton of fun. Bacon's about a guy that gets wrapped in bacon every time something bad's about to happen. And it freaks him out. And there's like...
Why would you not want to read that?
It's so cool. Okay, but anyway. So what I figured out is because I make movies and because I have the band, I think we get traction on Barnes & Noble and Apple and probably Amazon too, to an extent. Let me see. It's not a question, but I want to say you have a nice pic behind you. I don't know. He's probably talking about Bottom Boob.
I would guess he is.
Everybody likes Bottom Boob. That was the original poster for my movie that's a piece of shit called OC Babes in the Slasher of Zombie Town. That was the poster that we made originally for it, and then the distributor changed it to some like kind of gangster kind of thing for some reason. It was weird. Anyway, so because Kobo doesn't sell movies and music, I think that's why that's our lowest outlet. Whereas Barnes & Noble sells my films and sells my music. Apple sells my films and sells my music. So I think we get a little bit of crossover from that. Yeah. Black Star Canyon was the last thing I wanted to talk about on our list. Now, as far as as far as Black Star Canyon goes, Permafree has done like wonders for it. And I think too, this is another good thing to talk about. We changed our book covers, and a lot of the numbers that I have here don't have this month in it, and we changed our book covers this month.
Yeah.
And our sales this month have been probably better than our sales all throughout since Black Star Canyon's come out. But the book covers have really, really helped. So I know I'm one of those people that get pissed off when people say, well, your book cover better be great or else no one's going to read your book. And you can't judge a book by its cover. And that's just a bunch of shit. People totally fucking judge your book by the cover.
This is why I always worry and freak out. And why it's important to me, why we always ask that question and try to find out.
I honestly think the new Black Star Canyon covers and the covers for next season are so fucking good. Like, they're like my favorite.
We're totally like geeked out, aren't we? When we're making them,
dude,
like, it's the most fun process because he starts off telling me the idea and what he wants it to look like, and then he leaves me to it. He's sitting typing away while I'm thinking about trying to create something, and then I'll send it in stages to make sure the colours are right and things are in the right place and stuff. And we both just get more and more excited as they're coming along, don't we? And we're like,
totally.
It's down to the tiniest little thing, isn't it? And sometimes things just don't work, and we're like, oh, there's something not right. And then all of a sudden it just like clicks, and we're both like, so cool.
You're gonna get when it clicks, it's fucking like crazy gangbusters over here.
I know, it's ridiculous. Like,
and Char says covers sell more books than descriptions. And
this is the thing.
I agree with you because I do not read book descriptions. I do not read book reviews. I look at the stars, I look at the cover, and I look at the title. I'm a title whore. If there's a catchy title for a book, I'm so fucking right there. But I have bad taste, and we were talking about it before because that book, When I Was a Nazi, or whatever, or When I Was in the War, or whatever that book was, where the little stick figures about the kid who was a kid during World War II or whatever.
Yeah, and it's been one of the worst book covers ever.
Yeah, and I think it's amazing. I'm like, oh my god.
Like, but that's really cool, because it looks like a kid's blackboard drawing kind of thing, doesn't it?
Yeah. So back to this real quick, just so we could move on from all this shit. As the Black Star Canyon books have gone, and we'll have more information about this after the second season comes out to see really how it works, but obviously there's a huge drop from our free book to people buying the second episode and going down all 5 episodes or just buying the season. But once you get to the second book, it really stays, there's a little bit of a decline, but it's really, really close. But the thing that's weird is that episode 5 sells more than episode 4. And we can't figure out what that's about.
And people are just like, ugh, I'm going to jump to the end so I find out what's going on and then get the next season or something. I don't know.
I don't understand it. It doesn't make any fucking sense to me at all. But our best-selling book is actually the complete first season of all of our books.
That's really exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, so that's really cool. And it's good for us financially. But and that's, a lot of people say shit about that, is that when you're doing 99-cent books, they don't make as much money as the $2.99 books because of Amazon's royalty thing. But honestly, I enjoy putting them out episodically. I really like the idea of, okay, we're going to do an episode, now we're going to do the next episode, now we're going to do the episode after that, and like trying to get everybody excited to like...
Yeah, and get people like sort of on board with it and enjoying it and excited about the next one themselves, you know?
Yeah. No, seriously, I know people say serials are dying, but I totally don't fucking think so. I think the people who say serials are dying say that because they want more money for their books. And
Yeah.
yes, I want more money for our books too, but even though we're doing the serials, it's not hurting our season sales at all.
No.
So I don't give a shit. You know, it's fun. I have more fun doing this. And as long
And
as I'm having
especially-
more fun, it's good.
And for me, believe me. And I was going to say, it's even better when they're out in paperback form. So you can
yeah. I have a paperback of it right here. Here's the complete first series. It's really good stuff.
Yeah,
So,
that's a dig at me because I Europeans it all over. My same series.
it's okay. I like it.
Have you got the other?
I have a couple.
episodes?
I have the little episodes right here. Here's 1 and here's 3. Oh wait, how the fuck did I do that? Yeah. So they're little episodes, you know, but
No, that's what's nice about them because they all go to make that big one, but they're cute. They're cool
and
to
you
have on
can
your.
read them in a week and get ready for the next one.
Yeah.
So, and if you like the artwork, if you haven't seen the artwork and you've been living under a rock and haven't seen my 1,000 posts that I put up every day about Black Star Canyon's artwork and stuff like that, you're going to fucking shit yourself when you see the new covers. And Zoe's going to kill me because we were going back and forth on the second season, the full second season.
Mm-hmm.
Did it with like a bunch of different backgrounds, a bunch of different textures and all this shit. And now I can't decide if I like the dusk looking cover or the night looking cover. I can't decide.
Well, they're both there.
I stare at them both like a lot, and I just like go, which one do I like better? So, but then on episode 2, I was like really adamant about this one cover, and then I told you to stop, and you're like, no, I'm gonna keep fucking around with it. I'm like, stop, and you're like, I'm gonna keep fucking around with it, and then she fucked around with it and came up with this cover. And as much as I didn't want to say it, the cover she picked is better. And it's not that I don't want to say it because I want to piss you off or anything like that, but I really liked the one cover, but you are 100% correct as to why the cover you picked is a better cover for that book. So it's been a lot of fun. I don't know. But
maybe
basically,
we should do a poll on the launch party that we talked about, see which one people prefer for the second episode.
oh my gosh, putting our fate in people's hands. That's horrifying. Okay, so now what we're going to do, that's basically all I have, all the information here. And I'll have more information in a couple months is how this is going. But basically, Permafree works. It's going well. But we want to talk about the ad we did. And that's why... I'm sorry I'm turning pages, guys. I have just too many notes here. Okay, so we have been very skeptical about doing ads because I am a total cheapskate when it comes to fucking everything. And giving someone money to do something that technically I should be able to do really trips me out and just kind of sets me off and all this shit. But there are some things that I can't do, like have a...
Look at him struggling for things he can't do.
You're such a fuck.
What a privileged position to be in. Oh, wow. Let's have a
You're
think.
such a
What
jerk.
can I do?
Okay, we actually have a comment here. It says, I get like that with my covers. I'm running a 99 Designs contest, and it's super exciting seeing the designs coming in. That's from Michael again. 99 Designs is really cool. Do you know how 99 Designs works?
No, I don't.
You go in and you say, this is the kind of book I have, this is what it's about, and then a bunch of artists draw covers and make covers up for you and put it up on this page, and then I guess you pick which one you like the best. And if you
Oh,
don't like any
wow.
of them, you don't have to pay for any of them. But if you do like them, like you actually should probably set up an account
No.
there so you could draw people's stuff because you're amazing. You do good stuff.
Oh. I was actually thinking that while you were talking about what am I doing not knowing about this.
Yeah,
That was
so
quite a
that's
good
my.
idea.
So it's a really cool thing. Michael, let us
Yeah.
know how that works for you. One other thing I wanted to add is just a side note. If you've been watching the show at all the last couple months, you have heard me bitch and bitch about Zombie Alpha and how I was so upset because it didn't do as well as I hoped it would do and all this other shit. Well, after looking at all the stuff, Zombie Alpha actually is selling quite well, but it didn't explode the way I thought it was going to. And that's why
It
I've been so
wasn't as bad
down
as
on
you
it.
thought. Yeah.
What's that?
So it wasn't quite as bad as you'd originally thought.
Yeah, I thought it was like, oh, here is a book that there's a ton of people who like this kind of fiction instead of my weird movies about bacon wrapped people or my weird books about bacon wrapped people. Like this is a palatable thing for people to fucking read. And it didn't. I thought it was just gonna go and just take the fuck off, and it totally didn't. And I was really pissed about it and really down on the whole series and everything. But after looking at the sales over the last few months, it's actually outperforming a lot of my other books. But it's just I had such a huge expectation for it.
Yeah. It's
So
not as much as you thought. And
that's another thing you gotta take into account.
I did think as well, though, that we've been putting a lot into promoting the other books as well, so maybe there's a bit of overshadowing in that as well.
Yeah, and I don't mind putting a ton into promoting Black Star Canyon because I think it's
No,
fun as
it
shit.
needs to. Yeah.
So let's talk about that ad before everyone gets all irritated. Everyone meaning me. I'm sorry. So anyway, the ad we did, as funny as this is, we went on Fiverr and did a thing. I think the guy is called BK Knights, which sounds like a pair of shoes I had in junior high school. Yeah, BK Knights. Yeah, British Knights, BK Knights. Yeah, where I went to school, there was a gang that would wear them because they said the BK stood for Blood Killers. And if you wore Blood Killers, you were going to get shot by the Crips. So that was kind of scary.
Yeah.
Hang on a second here. I have to. If you guys don't know, it's Memorial Day weekend for those of you who live in America. And my neighbors are having this big barbecue today. And it is apparently kind of a big deal in here. So I had to let them know. I've been put in charge of mustard. I have to go to the store and buy many kinds of mustards for all the hot dogs and bratwursts.
That was a very integral part of barbecuing, as we all know.
Okay, so if you go on Fiverr and you look up this guy...
Is it Fiverr.com?
Yeah, it's Fiverr.
.com.
Now, the idea with Fiverr is that there's people on this website who are willing to do work for $5, okay? Now, somebody in one of the marketing groups that I'm a part of on Facebook posted this thing saying, wow, this was really fucking cool. You should try it. I tried it. And the thing about it that was neat was the guy has like six different things that you could do. Yeah. And then different things you could do on top of that. And I think what we did was we had him put us on his website for a week. Okay. Was the thing that we picked. And it was $5, and within 24 hours, we had a bump in our free books that was like 500 more than normal. And when I looked at what some of the other people were saying who have also tried it, they say that this one girl said she got, she's done it a couple times and got like a 350 boost. Someone else said it and said that they got an extra 400 than normal. And so that was awesome. So from that, our sales increased. People, because we put the first episode up for free, and
This is for Black Star Canyon, isn't it?
Black Star Canyon, yeah. And we had a lot of people. I mean, a lot as compared to what we had previous from doing the promotion, purchasing the complete season, which was great. Now, the ad lasts for 7 days, I guess. And after the first day it was huge.
Yeah. Massive, wasn't it? Couldn't
Yeah.
believe it.
The second day, not so much, and today, not so much. But I went ahead and did another thing with him where it says for $5, I will put your book, I will submit your free book to the top 15 sites who do this or whatever. So I went ahead and did that one too. And I don't know if this has anything to do with that, but our free books aren't going as fast as they were when we did the first promotion, but we're selling more of the series books. Now, other things that came up from this.
Before you say that, there were other options that you can add on to that. So for $5 you get on his website. Then for a further $5, what was
you
it?
could get his mailing list. For another $5, you could be on his Facebook page. For another $5, he'll tweet you all day or something like that. There's just all these things.
This was all within the same sort of promotion, wasn't it? The same group.
Well, it's the same guy.
Right, yeah.
So you could do all these things, but each thing is an extra $5. Yeah. So we just did the one, and it worked really, really well. We're very happy with the results. And then the second one started today, and so I don't know what the results are yet. Yeah, I just know that it's happening.
So, sorry I interrupted again.
No, it's okay.
You were saying the other thing.
But the other things about it that are awesome. So we had a boost in our free books. We've had conversion to the rest of the series. But the other two things that I didn't expect happening was we had a boost in all of our free titles. So Bloodlust Romance, SAC, free Kindle books, those all shot up too, which was awesome. And the other thing is that, and it makes sense that you would get a big boost on your mailing list if you have a link to your mailing list in your back matter. But we've had a huge boost to our mailing list. So all across the board for $5.
I know, you can't go wrong. It's ridiculous.
No, it's amazing. You know, so.
Now, what are the limitations on this? Does it have to be a free book? Does it have to be?
That one is a free book, but he has other ones that are paid books. So as soon as Black Star Canyon Season 2 starts on Sunday, a week from today, I want to do one of those and see if...
Yeah.
I mean, no one's going to come into Black Star Canyon Season 2 without reading Season 1. So maybe we should just do the complete season.
Yeah.
But I don't know. So, I don't know. Long story short, it's a good deal. Go on Fiverr, find BK Nights, and it's probably Book Nights. I don't know. Or Big Knickers Nights. Just look for it, okay? It's good. It's a really, really solid promotion.
With no catches that we can see, anyway.
None. Like, it was great. I mean, we've been doing a lot of other stuff, too. Like, we did the press release, and I sent that out to so many fucking places. And the follow-up that I should have done, I didn't do to as many or as good as I should have. Mm-hmm. But the press release, I think, did okay. So let's go ahead and, unless you guys have any questions about the ad or anything.
I was going to say that we have done quite a bit of research on the ads, haven't we, and try to work out, because we've been thinking for a long time that we want to do ads. But, you know, we're limited with funds, and also the fact that we don't want to spend a huge amount of money on it. We want it to be worth our while. And
Yeah.
there are some ridiculous things out there, some hugely costly things that sound so tempting. And then you get people, if you do the research, you get people going, this had absolutely no effect on my sales whatsoever. Don't
There
do
were
it.
a couple things that we almost did, and
Yeah, we were
if
really
it wasn't for the community, like on Facebook and stuff,
yeah.
we would have done some shit that got really bad reviews. And there was one thing we were gonna do that this girl did, and I can't remember what it was now. But she was going to do it, or she did it, and she paid for it, and the guy never ran the ad, or something like that. And
Yeah.
she had to like threaten, because it wasn't cheap, you know. It was kind of a pricey. So anyway, moving right along though. But we're going to try e-reader news today and Kindle books and tips probably this week or next week.
Yeah. So we'll let you know.
We'll let you know how those two go.
Yeah. We'll just keep you updated every time that we do something and see which one works, which one doesn't. Because
For real.
yeah, there's such a big choice out there. You need somebody narrowing it down a bit for you, I think.
Yeah. Okay, so as far as press releases go, okay, how to make a press release if you're an author, there are a bunch of sites I looked at for info on it, but the three best that I found was standoutbooks.com, selfpublishingadvice.com, and savvybookWriters.com had the best advice for press release stuff. And what I'm going to give you is kind of a little bit of my press release knowledge from doing all the press releases for the films and the band, and then kind of things that I took from all of these things that ended up working out.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the big things to do is to make sure that you are actually researching the recipients that you're going to be sending this to. Because one of the things is I have a buddy who does a lot of press releases, and I asked him for a list, a contact list, and he sent me a contact list of all of these places to send a press release to. And so I sent like the first two out, and then I realized I'm like, none of these things on this first page are going to put anything of mine out. The genre's not right. This isn't the best way to go about this. So then I had to go through those lists and kind of narrow down who would actually want to hear about anything that I'm doing. So make sure you do that.
Where would you go about finding a list of people in the first place?
You have to just Google and just search and try to find the stuff. But like if you're a romance writer, write romance blog, romance magazine, romance whatever. Let's see, we have another comment here. I have a BK Nights ad due out on Wednesday. I'm pleased it did well for you. For $10, Kindle Books and Tips advertising gave me a 500 plus boost on my free book. I recommend them. Yeah, totally. Like that's where we're hitting next.
Yeah. Oh, that's brilliant news.
That's awesome. Yeah. And dude, total break legs with your BK Nights.
Yeah, fingers crossed. I hope it's successful because you can't go wrong for $5, can you? You know what I mean?
No, and I mean a 10-book KBT ad too. That sounds fucking awesome.
It's nothing. It's so good.
So one of the tips on this that I found out is that 80% of journalists who get an email with an image embedded in the email read that email. So if you're sending a press release out to all these people, make sure that right at the top, it doesn't need to be a huge picture, but have something, whether it's your book cover, a picture of you, or something, embed that into the email. And when you're sending these out, and we'll talk about what to actually put in it, but before I forget, do not send an attachment. Put everything in the body of the email. Make it as simple as possible for them to read it and for them to see it. It's the same thing with your books. Like when you have your back matter, you don't want them to have to click to 3 pages to get to the next book.
Yeah.
You want them to click once and see the thing. So the fewest clicks possible. So just leave everything inside the thing. Your press release itself shouldn't be more than 400 words. It should take up 1 page. Anything more than that, it's kind of overkill. Now, your headline for your press release, it should be the subject of your email, first off. So don't have your email saying, like, check this out, or look at what I'm doing, or, like, woohoo, boobs. You know, like, your press release headline should be, like ours was Meet the Next Twin Peaks, Black Star Canyon Season 2 starts June 1st, okay? So that was the headline for the press release. That was also the subject line for the email. Now, the other thing you want to know about that is that your subject line should be tweetable, okay? So,
So keep it within 140 characters.
Exactly. So make sure that you could tweet that headline, because when they start posting it, they're going to be posting it with your headline. So make sure that that's something you can do. Your headline should be bold, clear, brief, and to the point. So put it in bold, make it very clear to understand, and extremely to the point. You're going to have anywhere from 3 to 4 paragraphs in the body of your press release. The first paragraph should basically be a 50 to 100 word summary of your headline plus your next 2 or 3 paragraphs. Okay? So make it short, give them exactly what they need to know, what you're trying to promote, and move on. Simplicity is always good. Now, know that no one's actually going to read your press release when you send it out. They're just skimming it, looking for keywords, seeing if it's interesting at all. Most journalists get so many press releases a day that they don't have time to sit there and like rifle through it and make sure this, that, and the other. So just make sure it has enough information that is quick, brief, but eye-grabbing. Okay. Your last paragraph should, again, summarize what everything said before it, and you should probably include some sort of mini bio about you in it. And this is also called your boilerplate, is what the term for it is. And
Boilerplate?
Yeah, it's the thing at the bottom. Summarize everything, tell a little bit about yourself. It's also good to use quotes in your press release. So if you have any good quotes about you, your writing, or your book, if you have any quotes from previous books in the series or any ARCs that went out that you want to throw in there, it's better if the quote comes from a reputable source, something that people should know, and whatever. And, if you don't have that, just do what you can. And then at the bottom of it, you need to put ends, like a little thing centered, so people know that's the end of the press release. I know that sounds kind of stupid, but that's just something they expect.
That's really interesting, because it's all to make it very obvious.
Yeah.
The people who are reading it quickly, isn't it?
Yeah, and the top thing to get out of this, for me anyway, is to inform and not to promote. You are informing someone that something is happening. You're not trying to sell them. You're not trying to promote to them. You're letting them know this is happening. Be a part of it, blah, 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 whatever. I mean, you don't even have to be a part of it, but this is fucking happening. Do something. Don't send PDFs. We already talked about that. Follow up after a couple days. All the people you sent it to. When I was researching all this stuff and doing what I'm doing, because I always do while I'm learning something, I didn't keep track of like the first 200 places I sent my press release to. So I guess I could have just went back through my sent mail, but I was too busy trying to write a book. But things you should do. You need to post it on your website. You need to tweet it. You need to put it on Facebook. One thing that they say to do that I haven't done that I'm going to do is to make a YouTube video where you basically read your press release and talk about it, and then put your press release in the description. And all this does is help the SEO, the search engine optimization. So when the journalist starts looking you up, it's all of a sudden all over the place. And it makes it really, really simple for them to be able to find out more information if they need to find out more information. So if you want to see like how it's actually set up and how I set mine up, if you go to creeperson.com, it's on the front page there in the slider menu or whatever, but it says Meet the New Twin Peaks Black Star Canyon Season 2. Comes out June 1st. If you want to take a look at how I set up the thing. And the other thing that I found, I think this was from Savvy book writers, they said to not attach a copy of your book. Mm-hmm. A, because it makes the file big when you send it to them, and B, chances are they're not going to read it. So just let them know if the book's free, they can download the book here.
Yes,
if they would like a copy. Yeah, you're just giving them the info. Yeah. So that's that, and that was pretty cool. I enjoyed that. So that's that.
What kind of results have we got from those two then?
How many what now?
What results did we get from you sending those out, would you say?
Oh, yeah. We got quite a few people reposting it and changing it up to fit what they talk about. I have a couple interviews next week, so it was beneficial. I enjoyed it. As much as one can enjoy a press release. Mm-hmm.
So would you recommend it, though? You definitely
Yeah, I mean, if you're putting out a new book, put a press release out. If you're running a special sale that's like a ridiculous sale, or if something you wrote is based on a holiday or something, like Memorial Day's this weekend, if you wrote a book that has something to do with veterans or something like that, put a fucking press release out right now. And have people find out more about your shit that way. So it's highly important for you to do that.
Really cool.
The last thing we're going to talk about today is Facebook events and our Facebook event.
Are you not talking about in your blog post?
Okay, let me just say this really quick. I wrote some blog posts the last week to help get people to know that the Black Star Canyon's coming out next week. So I did a blog post called "Shut Up and Freaking Write Something," and that did really fucking good. And it's not necessarily a shitty, mean blog, but it's just shut up and fucking write something. Like, I don't know. But I did other things like how many words should you write a day, self-publishing myths. I don't know. There were some other ones in there too. I can't remember all of them. But so I've been doing that. I was putting up every chapter of the free book on my blog, like every day, put up a new chapter, and then did all that shit. And so what I'm doing now is I'm putting up a blog for the first chapter of each book in the series. Mm-hmm. And so it's kind of like a thing like, shit, like, are people going to read like I was really curious as to if people would get into it. But then when I put up the first chapter for episode 3, I was like, dude, if people fucking read this, they're going to go out and fucking get all of it. And it's not basically, Lucas wakes up in the dirt next to a big, fat, hairy, naked man who's dead laying on his arm. And Lucas can't get the dude off of him because he's a big, fat, dead guy, and he's trying to fucking pull his arm out from underneath him. That's how he fucking woke up to start his fucking day. So if that doesn't make you want to fucking read Black Star Canyon, I don't know what the fuck will. That's some shit right there.
I think you're totally right.
So I was worried about spoiling stuff, but now it's just like, you know what? It's all promotion. It's all good. So
And
I
all this
recommend people do.
promotion, all this promotion's kind of been amped up this week because of the launch party on Sunday, which we're
Yeah.
talking about before I interrupted again.
By the way, the chapter with Lucas waking up next to the naked dead guy, that post has fucking killed it. Like, that's getting a lot of reads.
Really?
Yeah, dude. It's funny. More than episode 2, more than all the episode 1 chapters I put up.
Because it's a
So,
good chapter.
yeah, so I recommend that. Don't worry about, after reading Tim Grall's book, Your First 1,000 Copies, like, one of the things that are in that book is, like, people ask him, how much should you give away? Like, how much free stuff should you give? Like, should you do perma-free? And he's like, yes, you should do perma-free. And yes, you should give stuff away. And then right when you feel like you're giving too much away, give away a little bit more. And then you're almost to where you should be with how much stuff you should give away.
Yeah.
And so taking that into consideration is how all this other shit's going on.
Yeah, I think he's right. Totally.
But anyway, so Facebook events. There's been a lot of talk about Facebook events. Brian Cohen, I almost said Brian Coyne, different guy. Brian Cohen did March to a Bestseller back at the end of February. It was a big hit. Mark Tufo, I think is his name, the zombie fiction author, did a Facebook event last year with a bunch of zombie authors, did really well. And people had been doing more and more of these Facebook events. And we are trying to launch Black Star Canyon, and we didn't know how we could get other authors to come in to do that kind of event. So we're like, okay, so what can we do if it's just going to be us and we're just going to be talking Black Star Canyon? What can we do? And we've been talking a lot about it the last couple weeks, but no one really knows what the fuck's going on and what's going to happen. So right now what we're going to do is I'm going to tell you exactly what we're going to do, and hopefully that'll get you super excited to come.
Probably not as excited as we are.
Oh yeah, totally. I'm fucking geeked as a motherfucker about all this shit. So I broke it down. We're going to be doing it from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Sunday. So that's going to be right in the middle of this show, or the show is going to be right in the middle of the event. So we're going to be doing Podcast 451 next Sunday in the middle of the Black Star Canyon Season 2 launch party. So because of this, I broke everything up, and because I like making lists, because I'm a fucking stupid OCD guy, I have it broken up into like every 10 minutes we're going to do this, every 15 minutes we're going to do this, at 30 minutes we're going to do this, and all this other shit. So what we have on here, we have just like random questions. So I came up with a bunch of random questions, like which character is most like you and why? What do you think is behind the red door? Who's on the phone? Who would you rather, Colt or Dakota? Things like this, okay? So just like random questions, okay? What actors do you see playing the characters once this becomes a television show or something like that?
I'm really looking forward to that one.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun one. So we're going to be doing that. Then I have previews, and it's not previews necessarily of what is going to be happening, but it's previews of each character. So every 15 minutes, I'm going to give you another character and give you a little preview. Not every 15 minutes, at the 15th minute of every hour. That makes more sense there.
Yeah.
So, like, we're going to be talking about, here's the big one. What is the fate of Lucas? What's going on with him? Reagan, what's he up to? You know, like little previews of each thing. And then there are a couple cases that are going to be solved that started last season that were left open-ended. Those we'll kind of go into which ones of those will be solved. And there is a new evil element in Black Star Canyon this season, and we'll talk about that. Now, because I decided to kill a ton of fucking people last season, and everyone got pissed off, There are a lot of.
No.
Well, I don't know. I got chewed out by a couple different people, and I felt a little weird. I'm like, don't you want people to die? Don't you want drama? And apparently, some people don't like people getting killed a whole lot.
It depends on which people. We've discussed this.
So we have a lot of new characters, and a lot of the new characters are really, really fun. And so we're going to be talking about that. And every 35 minutes, I'll give you a little bit about a new character and discuss about that. We're going to be revealing all of the covers that we did for last season and this season. And I don't know if we're going to show all of the new Season 2 covers. We might, just because we're really excited about them. But we're going to show you the original sketches for all of them. Things like that. Any kind of questions you have, we'll talk about that. Ideas of what you think things are, I'm really curious to know. And then everyone who shows up is going to get a free bookmark, you know.
We've got beautiful bookmarks on the way.
Totally. So we're going to give out those. We're going to be giving out, if any new readers show up, we're going to be doing a couple different contests to give away the first season for free. And then we're going to do some other things, because we're assuming on Sunday when you're there, you bought season or episode 1. So we're going to do some giveaways for episode 2. For you.
Are we going to do the posters?
Are the posters done? We had a couple things. We were making T-shirts. We were doing all sorts of fun shit, but I don't know what we actually have ready to go.
Discuss that later on tonight and work it out.
Okay, but let me just say, I don't know if we're gonna have them, but the T-shirts were so fucking cool. Tell them, Zoe. Tell them.
Well, no, we had a disaster. The first one we were doing just plain black tees with like a pale yellow logo for the Black Star Canyon, which looked really cool, didn't it?
Yeah.
And that was from season 1, episode 2, wasn't it? The dark background. So we thought about doing that. And then I was looking into other ones, and we had like the cover for the first episode of the first season, which is the red telephone with the red logo. That was on like the mustard coloured T-shirt, which is everybody's colour, but it was awesome.
Super yellow T-shirt. It was so fucking cool. I was like, dude, I'm gonna start wearing yellow like all the fucking time.
I know. I don't wear yellow either. I've got a couple of yellow T-shirts, and I kind of. But it was worth it. But it's sourcing them to a sort of reasonable, like making it sort of worthwhile so people don't have to pay much for them. So that's going to be happening at some point as well, but whether we can get some surprises or something, we'll see.
The biggest problem for me is how expensive getting shirts made for at these different sites like Zazzle and Cafe Press.
The T-shirt
it is fucking unbelievably expensive.
£20 or something, which is ridiculous.
Yeah. So we'll figure out a cheaper way to do it to make it not look shit. But
I do have the means to actually do our own. So at some point or other, we're going to be doing that, and there'll be proper hand-printed, beautiful T-shirts, guaranteed. But that's just a matter of time.
Yeah. So if you haven't RSVP'd for the event yet, go on Facebook and type in Black Star Canyon Season 2 launch party. If you're a writer and you want to know how a Facebook event goes and how, even if we crash and burn and you just want to see what not to do.
Yeah, just come along.
You should go, because every Facebook event I've ever heard of has been a group of authors getting together to do something. And I haven't been able to find anyone to like base something off of that was just a single book launch or something like that.
So we're like just winging it a little bit, but we're hoping it's the kind of book but it's got such a lot of characters and such a lot of cool things going on that we're hoping to be able to have a really good time just joking on about it. You know, and you can dip in and out and discuss things that you want to talk about and just see what's going on, really. There's going to be a lot of chat, hopefully, and a lot of discussion. And we're going to be giving away have you told people about the best part?
There's a better best part?
Yeah, you haven't mentioned what they get if they purchase the book.
No, we were talking about the bookmarks already. I threw
No,
that out
not
already.
those.
What? Oh, the cards? The postcards?
No,
What? What are you talking about?
the Welcome to Black Star Canyon.
Oh, shit. Yeah,
Oh
okay.
my goodness.
I fucking totally dropped the ball on that. So, again, if you get Black Star Canyon Episode 1 during its launch week,
Season 2, Episode 1.
Season 2, Episode 1, there will be another book included in the book called Welcome to Black Star Canyon, A Tour Guide to the Town, that is a fictional nonfiction book written by town historian Ernest Wilson that is just totally fun. And there's actually a lot of clues in that help in figuring out what's going on in Season 2. So, and then we will eventually probably sell that book anyway.
Yeah.
But if you want it for free, get Episode 1 of Season 2 and you'll get it for free that first week.
We're hoping to do it as a paperback, are we? At some point as well?
I would like to put all of these out in paperback just because I like the covers and they look fucking amazing. But
the Welcome to Black Star Canyon one is great. It's just like the colours and everything are different, aren't they, to the usual? It's sort of quite peaceful and nice compared to the topics that we have for the other one.
Yeah, and I sent it out in my newsletter last week. I'll put it up today. I'll make a post for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
that's
definitely
going to
check
be
that
for
out.
anybody who buys the first episode of Season 2 in the first week from Sunday, the 1st of June onwards.
Until June 8th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
1st of June 8th.
Okay. So, other than that, I think we're done. So if you want more information, go to creeperson.com and sign up for the newsletter. The audio feed for this will be up hopefully by tomorrow. And if you have any other questions, hit us up on Facebook or Twitter or something. And we'll see you at the launch party. And do you have anything else?
No, I don't think so. I think we've covered everything.
All right, cool. Well, thank you guys so much for hanging out.
Yeah, thanks so much. And thanks for all the comments. It's been great chatting with everybody.
Bye!
Okay, bye!